Welcome to the Your Town television program. My name is Joy Anderson. I'm the Member Relations Manager with the Monterey Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. My guest today is Danny Krueger, who is the CEO of IO Energy, Inc. Okay, I went on your website. You do a lot of things.
We do.
And a lot of it as just a regular old common person, I have no idea. So
well, I'm glad
I know you have a lot of services, so thank you for being here today and kind of letting us know all about IO Energy.
Yeah.
So
it's a story I love to tell.
Okay.
I think we're doing important work, and you know, as a business owner, I think that's really the most important aspect of business ownership. Is it has to be relevant.
Exactly.
You know, we can all find a way to earn a living, but some of the lucky few are doing something they love and they're passionate about, and that it's important. So I consider myself to be in that camp. So IO Energy, the name itself, IOE, are the initials, and for some they'll recognize IOE. Where have I heard? That's the Internet of Everything is the next wave of the Internet.
Okay.
And so we have a play on the term IOE. It's IO Energy. And you could say it's the Internet of Energy, and in fact our tagline is the Internet of Efficiency. So how does all this come together? The first wave of the Internet, we feel, was really about the information age. It's the connection of delivering data from this mass World Wide Web and giving people information. The next wave, which we consider to be even larger, is the Internet of Everything, the Internet of Things, where not necessarily bringing data to me as an individual through my phone or my computer, but now things are talking to one another and handling things that I maybe don't feel like handling. So IO Energy is a company that brings the Internet of Things to commercial and industrial buildings, and we pay for all these smart building attributes on the backs of making the building more efficient. So it's an efficiency business. At our core, we're a C10 electrical contractor. We go in and we do a process that we call retrofit. And retrofit would be to remove antiquated systems like heating and ventilation systems or lighting systems. We take out that old stuff that's really inefficient. We put in new stuff, LED lights, web-enabled thermostats, sensors. And as we're retrofitting the building, all these new goodies, you end up with a very efficient building that costs less to operate. So in a sense, it's free to do the upgrade. But then we also make it a smart building. We give this connection, this Internet of Things, Internet of Everything attributes that's really valuable to America at this point. And so we're hoping to lead that charge.
Wow. Okay.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but you know, it makes sense. I mean, because you know, even as an individual consumer, you know, aside from the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you see things on TV, you see things on the internet, and you're going, wow, that really makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely.
You know, some of it a little bit much for me. There was some kind of a thing that I saw on TV, and I had to laugh because it was, you're out shopping and now you can have this app or some kind of a program, and it looks inside your refrigerator to tell you if you need certain.
And then it brings you the data.
Yeah, it's just
that's an early implementation of the Internet of Everything, where your fridge knows. You don't have to go and tell it that you're low on milk or eggs. And then it delivers that data just in time because your phone is aware that you've just walked nearby a Safeway. And oh, you might want to stop in and get some. So that's an early, I mean, we're not doing that per se.
No, but I mean, just to kind of wrap my head around all of this, I mean, it's a different age.
I'd love to give you an example of kind of how we have applied the Internet of Everything.
Please.
So think of a building like a high-rise. You have, maybe you work for a large finance company or a bank, and you have your headquarters in San Francisco and 40 floors. And you know just intuitively that this building is never more than 40% occupied. It's a busy center, it's a big hub, but people are at meetings, they're traveling, never more than 40. So these building operators today do recognize that the San Francisco real estate is very expensive, and if they could consolidate their operation and maybe not operate on 40 floors, but what about 36 floors? It should be easy to do that. It should be no problem.
Right.
But it's actually very hard to gather the data. I mean, asking people, they'll tell you, no, I need my office.
Sure.
So here's where IO Energy comes in. We will do a massive upgrade to that building, taking out the old fluorescent lighting, putting in new LED lights, and all those lights now have little sensors that tell when the light should be on or off based upon occupancy.
Okay, yep.
So if I'm at my desk, I want light, and if I'm away from my desk, it would just waste energy. Now there's a sensor there that says, Danny's not here right now, and will dim the lights or even turn. So that sensor that's operating the light fixture, it's also collecting what we call big data. That big data on occupancy is very valuable to a building operator. And when I said it knows whether Danny's at his desk or not, it really doesn't. It's just sensing an infrared signal. So it's not a personalized privacy thing so much as it's just, is there a body there or not? And so we can take that data from these sensors and wirelessly move it through to a gateway or a router, and then to a processor. And then with some really simple algorithms and interface, we can really know what's happening in that building 24 hours a day with respect to occupancy. Yes, we're saving energy. It's all LED, plus it's now dimming and turning on. So you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars to operate your building. But more importantly, you now know which floors are least used. And if you can consolidate 40 floors down to 36 floors, and then lease those other 4 for millions of dollars each, now this energy efficiency is just, it pales in comparison to the money you've saved. So that's a great example of this big data, the Internet of efficiency. So we spend a lot of time there on the technical side. Our biggest clients are real estate investment trusts who own vast portfolios of buildings, and they want to get them all connected so I can just log in and find out, what's the temperature there, what's the occupancy, are we wasting energy? So that's where we operate. A national firm, headquartered right in Carmel Valley, and we do that for only one reason. It's because we can. I grew up here. I love it here. My co-founder is my older brother. We went through all the Carmel Unified Schools and couldn't wait to leave this peninsula as a young person, and quickly realized we need to get back. This is a great place to raise a family. So we're headquartered here. We have an operation in New Jersey for our operations center, and another in Chicago for our engineering center. And it's just a great time to be in this field. It's really exciting.
I just find it fascinating, and it just, as you explain it, I think the data collection is a critical piece. Because, you can walk through a building, and I've worked in some big buildings when I was living out of the area, and you walk through there and you go, this place is empty. But, is it really empty? Or is it more empty than the next floor?
Right.
You might think that one's empty because that's the one you walk through all the time, but you don't get to the other floor.
We found that the facility manager, the man or woman with the keys that gets there at 5 a.m., they know absolutely what's going on, but they don't have the data to back up their business case. So, when, like I said before, the VP who's never there, but he gets an office or she gets an office, well, she's not going to give that up willingly.
No.
And if the person with the keys says, well, but you're only here 25% of the time, we really need to make that a conference room.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you can come with a data and say, here it is. The light system has shown us that you've only been here twice in the past 3 weeks. That's a different story.
It's a different story.
Yeah,
well,
really
because especially nowadays where, a lot of businesses telecommute.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's that's the pleasure. That's the great thing about being able to work from wherever you are, sitting in your car in the parking lot. I'm sitting there, taking phone calls and sending emails, while I'm sitting there waiting
Productive,
waiting for
transition.
to do something.
Yeah.
So, so we have that proof that a lot of folks in buildings don't come in.
Exactly.
They don't need to.
And we found the smartest employers embrace that. If you make it easy for folks to be productive and you support the way that they want to work, they will work, give you better output.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
value their employment so much more. So absolutely, and I think that American business, Western business has embraced that. And so now we have these monolithic brick and mortar facilities that in many ways are underutilized. And so that it's one example of what we're doing with the data.
Right.
But in that business case, there's a huge need for it. I mean, if we can repurpose a building, a Social Security office, that now doesn't need all their space, and maybe what about an attorney's office right next door that serves those who are
yes, so need help with their Social Security.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we see that trend, and we're helping to support that.
Oh, and that makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, you see it all the time too. It's people when you call in to make an appointment, it's like you can do this online. I mean, the recording tells you that. So So moving people around buildings and such, and being more efficient all the way around. With energy and with people. Right.
And we found that. You reminded me of maybe a catchphrase that we didn't invent, we really embrace. There's a triple bottom line from investing in these types of projects. The triple bottom line, the bottom line everyone knows is profit. So there are three bottom lines now. And it's not only profit, but it's people satisfaction. We talked about job satisfaction and then the planet, right? And that's where I guess I'm the greatest satisfaction. If we can reduce energy use intensity, which we are, then that means it's one more power plant that doesn't need to be built. And then pretty soon it will not just be the one that doesn't, maybe it's one we can take offline. And then as technology is embraced and big investments are made, then solar and batteries, and we keep taking these big energy consuming power plants offline and getting free energy from the sun and storing it all day and then de-energizing during the evening. So this trend is happening, and it's fantastic and it's fun to watch. That people, profit, planet, that planet aspect, we have to take a leadership position. And who better than the entrepreneurs? I mean, we are a capitalistic society, and if there's a way to do it and embrace not just the profit motive, but the people and the planet as well, then that's where the great satisfaction comes
Talk
from.
about a win-win-win there.
Yes, yes. So we're very proud of what we're doing.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think it's great.
Yeah,
so how long have you been in the business?
For me, 8 years.
8 years.
I began with an energy efficiency company that my brother helped take from just a small operation all the way to NASDAQ.
Oh, wow.
And so he has been in the energy efficiency space since really the very first fluorescents were being converted to more 25 years.
Wow.
And so I worked with him for a short time, beginning about 8 years ago. Then I went to the Silicon Valley and worked with a technology startup in the clean tech phase that makes these sensors that I've talked about that gather data and control lights. And then at some point he and I said, it's time. With my acumen around the technology and in business development, his incredible expertise with nationwide contracting and project management, personnel management, let's do this.
Yeah.
And so it was June 2015 when we incorporated, and we both worked out of our homes, and we have very patient spouses and families, but the intensity of that is something I'll never trade. And so now we've leased space, and as I mentioned, we've got operations around the country, and it's very, very fulfilling and exciting to be a leader in this space.
Oh wow, I know, and here you are.
And here we are.
So I know with our Chamber of Commerce, I know that you're very active with our economic vitality, economic vitality committee. But tell me about other things that community.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, a lot of our business development, we follow these large enterprises that have multiple, and that doesn't describe a lot of the tourism and agricultural base economy of Monterey Peninsula, but it doesn't exclude it either. So We have really enjoyed working with the Chamber for the opportunity to get into the large agri-commerce, agribusiness operations, and those introductions are really helpful. The Chamber gives us legitimacy and top-of-mind awareness for those who do business in Monterey. But even more importantly, for me personally, the Chamber has given me a voice as a stakeholder in the community. Grew up here, raised my family here. I care deeply about it. I'm not someone who probably would ever want to run for office. I just not that's
your
not
thing.
Danny. But I want a voice, and
Yes.
so to have access to public elected officials, to those staff members who are in influential positions, and really share my sense for how we're doing and how we can do better. The Economic Vitality Committee has given me that forum. And then I also get to rub shoulders with some great folks. I mean, the friendships that you make as a Chamber member are invaluable.
Yeah. And the network, yeah, it is the networking.
Absolutely.
It's just,
So not necessarily for our case just to raise business, and it does work well for that,
Right.
but there's that side business of just feeling part of the fabric and making a difference.
Great, and feeling part of the community.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of the, the clientele that you probably have, and you have offices in other parts of the country. So, you're all over the place. But, still having that sense of community.
Absolutely.
Being born in, I was born and raised here, and
Yeah.
that's what I do. I mean, I want to support things that are going on in the community. I want to
Right.
stay involved.
Right.
And that's
Well,
what we do.
a dear friend of mine once said, as we get to a station in life where you can give back, how do I decide what to give to? I mean, my time, my energy. Well, you first turn to those things that have fed you, and certainly the Chamber with supporting my careers throughout time is somehow finding a way to raise a family here. You have to do it on purpose.
Yes.
It's not that easy. But the Chamber has been a constant throughout my time here.
Well,
so.
we appreciate you saying
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you so much. It always helps for people to understand that too, because
Yeah.
there's still a lot of folks that don't really understand what we do and the things that we can accomplish, and
Right.
and the people that you are able to connect with, and I think
right.
that's really important. But
Right.
so you have a little brief time here, but
Yeah.
tell me, you have your family.
I do. I have a child, a 19-year-old, who is now in San Diego, was just accepted to UCSB, and
Okay.
we're hoping to hear from my alma mater, UCLA, in the next few days, if not hours, and so we'll know what her future is. My son, Nick, is at Carmel High School and is a junior, and just having a great academic and social experience there. Carmel High School is my alma mater.
That's what I was
so
saying.
there's
It's
this great,
just fun to go
there's
back.
this serendipity of
Yeah.
having. And then in addition to the community work that I do with the Chamber, and I'm also involved as a director of an organization called the Breakthrough Men's Community.
Oh,
which
I'm
is
familiar with them.
Are you? It's a fantastic organization. Dedicated to really families on the peninsula and focusing on men's issues and living a better life. And so I'm the board of directors there and a presenter of the material, and it's just been a great influence for me.
Well, it's been such a pleasure,
Thank
and
you.
now I know so much more about you. I can tell
Yeah,
everybody,
Joy.
hey, I understand what IO Energy does
That's
and what they're
right.
all about, and
Yeah.
we wish you well, much success, and thank you for
appreciate it.
joining me today.
Well, thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.